everybody. It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, owner of Meet the World Image Solutions, a publicity and literary services company based in the DMV. As a publicist, publisher, and a 24-time published author, I know very well what it means to protect your intellectual property. Because if you don't copyright your work, you leave money on the table and you allow somebody else to cash in on your hard work. Copyrighting your work costs as little as $45, but it gives you the power to claim up to $150,000 per violation in court. And without this registration, you remain vulnerable and your fight for justice becomes much harder. But what happens once that copyright runs out? This is why I support the Creators' Rights Movement. It's a collective voice rising in defense of artists, authors, musicians, filmmakers, and all types of creatives. Because right now, outdated copyright laws mean that after a set number of years, your life's work can be stripped away and handed over to corporations, while your family, the people that you were trying to build a legacy for, receive nothing. Think about it. Families can inherit homes, they can inherit land, they can inherit money. So why shouldn't they inherit the creative property that holds equal, if not greater value? Copyright isn't just an economic issue, it's a matter of fairness and moral justice. The Creative Rights Movement is fighting to change these outdated copyright laws by extending copyright indefinitely, which means that your legacy, our legacies, are preserved not just for today, but for generations to come. So don't wait until it's too late. Protect your work now. Protect your name and protect your legacy. And join us in this fight to make sure that creators' rights are respected, protected, and passed on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I know my hair was a little different on that video. Y'all ought to be used to me by now. I've been doing this show for quite a while, and my hair is different probably every week, so I don't want to hear nothing. But how's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody is having an amazing week so far. I know my Monday was a real case of the Mondays, a lot going on, but we made it through the first day of the week, and we're gonna make it through the rest of this week, and then Wednesday night. Even though I've been invited to like 2 Thanksgiving meals, I'm still going to be cooking. I thought I got out of it this year, but hey, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So tonight we have a very special show. As you know, we have been interviewing many of the authors who are going to be a part of the Literacy Code book tour that's coming up in the next couple of months. And we've also been talking about the Creators' Rights Movement. And you just saw the video for that. So please make sure you sign that petition, because we are advocating for perpetual copyright for our work that we put our blood, sweat, and tears into. But without any further ado, I'm going to bring on our very first guest, Miss Christina Johnson. She is going to be one of the featured authors for the Literacy Code book tour. And I am so happy to have her on the show. This is actually my first time getting a chance to meet her. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Rhonda. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So before we get started, I know you're traveling, so thanks for taking the time to talk with me during your travels. But tell everybody, who is Christina Johnson?
Oh, wow. So I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I am right now, visiting through the holidays. I was born here, raised by my mom and my stepdad, which in my book, it talks about my upbringing, and it really is my memoir, but also a self-help because of the circumstances that I grew up in. My stepdad was abusive to my mom. We grew up under a lot of abuse, and I became a teenage mom at 16, again at 19, and looking for love in the, all the wrong places, wanting to be loved, and then understanding how to forgive and to cultivate, the life that I wanted and to love myself. and being raised in the church and having that, solid background of religion, but also just not putting God in a box, but being open just spiritually to really diligently seek Him and to allow Him to guide and lead my life. And then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I married an entertainer. So my following comes from doing television, from MTV Cribs um, to also doing what else was there? My Super Sweet 16 for our daughter, and a show called Atlanta X's on VH1. So I wrote the book because I'm a life coach, a certified master life coach, and I've been using my life to really help other women to love themselves for the first time, or to fall in love with themselves again.
Yeah.
And so it's been just a beautiful journey of healing myself through the things that I've been through, and also helping women to facilitate their healing. Because I feel like the healing comes from the Most High, but we have to be open, willing, and ready for that to take place. So just being a vessel for other women, being a vessel for the Most High to use me so that He can also heal women. So that's
It takes a
that's
lot of
like,
bravery to that was a lot, but it
yeah.
takes a lot of bravery. I tell this to my clients all the time when they say they want to write their life story. And I
Mhm.
always ask them, are you ready to strip down in front
Yes,
of the world and have people judge you for your decisions? People who have never met you before.
that's
Are
right.
you ready to do that?
That's right. And it is a very vulnerable place, but there's no way to tell the story without telling it. And there's no way to heal if you don't want to face the things that not only have happened to you and the traumas that's happened to you, but also the choices that we've made. So,
Yes.
really and truly, it was very hard to really, I felt like I tell everybody it's me telling on myself, really, and being open about the choices that I've made and understanding that they've all worked out for my good. Because a lot
Yes.
of times we talk about mistakes. I feel like, but if it brought out the best in you, if it forced you to heal, face your stuff, if it forced you to be better, or you made the choice, because the name of my book is My Choice to Choose. And that's what it's about. From the time we wake up in the morning till we go to bed at night, everything we decide to do is a choice, and how we handle the choices that we've made is also a choice. A lot of people want to just ignore it, forget it, or to
Mm.
numb themselves with different things, whatever it is. It could be church, it could be alcohol, it could be drug use, whatever, they choose, or to really plant your feet down and say, I'm going to do the work. And so,
Absolutely.
just allowing them to see, like, I've done certain things that I'm not the most proud of, but I have made the choice to turn my life completely around. And
And
so this book is really, it's like kind of being naked in a crowd of people, to be
you're
honest,
right.
just feel so vulnerable. But at this point, just because I'm an open book and I've been sharing since, God really opened up a platform for me. And so it's really like I haven't done anything that a lot of other people have haven't chose to
Well,
do.
one thing I want to touch on though,
Yeah.
is when you were talking about the things you've done, the TV shows that you've been on, married to
Mhm.
an entertainer. For there are a lot of young girls who would think that you live their dream life. They want to be in the limelight. They want to be married to that entertainer so they can have the soft life. And
Yeah.
sometimes they may not realize the cost that comes with that.
Absolutely. That's the thing, is like a lot of people want the end result or what it looks like to them, but they don't know the struggle or the journey that you had to go through to get to what they see on outwardly. And so, and I tell like a lot of young women and a lot of young girls, it's like now we have social media. Back then we did not. Now you're
Right.
looking at all these other people's lives, you're coveting their lives when you don't know that the trip that they got for free wasn't because they had a black eye, or they got beat up, or they got, verbally abused. You just want the trip or the car or whatever these, trinkets are, but not understanding what the person may have had to endure, to get those things. So it's a lot of times I'm trying to convince people, okay, take this stuff with a grain of salt. If you're not behind closed doors, you really don't know what people's lives look like. You're getting snippets of what looks good. Rarely do you see the ugly. Sometimes people will share vulnerability, but a lot of times what you see is not always what the reality of it is. And when you're coveting that, or putting yourself in position where you're opening yourself up to do whatever it is just to get things, you're putting yourself in danger because it's not always what it looks like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what is that the biggest takeaway that you want people to walk away with your from reading your book?
I guess the biggest thing is just knowing that no matter what your background looks like, no matter what you've been through, you can turn your life around. I think that we're here to learn certain lessons. Our spirits our spirits come here. We come in this avatar, but our spirits come here to gain lessons, to grow. And I think that it's important for us to, one, accept the fact that everything happens as it should. I don't believe that God is a God of mistakes. I don't think he's starting with your life. I think it's important to forgive. That's one of the biggest things in the book is like you're having this experience. People are showing up like they're supposed to bring the best out of you, to make you a better person. Accept who you are, where you are at this present moment. Forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made before, mistakes again, for the things that you've done that you feel like weren't so favorable. But use every day that you have a pulse and you wake up with a new opportunity. Use that to become the best version of yourself and be the best possible you can be. Get all of every opportunity that life is giving you. Get all of the lessons, get the joy out of it. Understand whatever these lessons are, they're coming to help you, to make you a better you. And don't have any regrets about it. Just live and learn and enjoy the journey. Don't waste these heartbeats, because as we see every day, it's someone new, that we're losing. And this is an opportunity for you to really live. And so make the best choices that you can. Sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves. So I would say release guilt. Because a lot of times we carry guilt and we'll say, oh, okay, we're going to forgive ourselves. And then the next minute you're telling yourself another story and being hard on yourself. Be mindful of the story that you're telling yourself. And be open.
And that's sometimes the hardest when the story that we tell ourselves is usually way worse than the reality was.
It's not always true. There's a beautiful book by Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote The Four Agreements. But this book is called The Voice of Knowledge. And it talks about that, how the mind will lie to us. And it makes up these stories. You see one thing, and by the time you're finished creating this story in your mind, it's so off the wall and so out of there. It's not even true. It's not nearly what really was happening. But because we're so used to doing that, we will make up these stories and continue to tell us these stories and then torture ourselves behind it, instead of just asking the right questions, waiting to see what the outcome is. We'll start as soon as someone doesn't answer the phone. Oh, they're probably doing this. And then that snowballs into a whole
we
story.
drive ourselves crazy with those stories.
We do. We absolutely do. So yeah, that would be my biggest thing, is just be mindful of the story that you're telling yourself and make sure that it's true. Facts over feelings. Because a lot of times we're just getting wrapped up in the feelings and the emotion and not really looking at the facts.
Absolutely. So remind us again, the name of your book and where we can find it.
It is My Choice to Choose, and it's available on Amazon. So if you put My Choice to Choose, it'll pop up with my face and Christina Johnson again. And I hope that it blesses you. That's the reason for telling it. A lot of times we talk about the things that have happened to us or that we've been through for attention. We're attention seeking and all of that. This literally was me putting love into pages and really opening up about my own life so that other people can see that they're not the only one who's been through molestation, through rape, through, teen pregnancy and abuse, whether it was verbal or financial or physical. You're not the only one. And no matter what your past has looked like, you can still live a beautiful life.
Amen. Amen. So
Absolutely.
we just put your socials up. So hopefully everybody will follow you, because you have an amazing story to tell that so many of our young girls really need to hear. And would you say that that's the audience for your book? Is it young girls? Is it
I would
teenagers?
say
Is it young
teens and
adults?
older. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a mother of 3 grown-ups. I have 5 grandchildren,
You don't look like you have any 5
and that's
grandchildren.
why I said it, because a lot of times people look at the physical outward and they're like, "Oh, girl, you don't." But I'm like, I'm over 50, and I've been on this earth for a long time. I've learned a lot. This book is for, I would say, teenagers, because it's very, it talks about the molestation and everything. Definitely wouldn't give it to children, but from teens to grown-ups, and just letting people know, like, it's never too late. It's never too late. You can live a wonderful life. You can enjoy this life. You can start doing things that you thought you couldn't do. I just don't believe in limitations. And so hopefully
Yes.
this book will give people hope to do that.
And you'll be spreading this story on the Literacy Book Tour.
Yes, and I'm excited about the tour. You guys, if you get to catch it in your city, please come and bring your girlfriends and your friends, and even it doesn't matter. We have something for everybody. It's going to be a
Yes.
lot of fun, and it's going to be a blessing to many. I just know it.
I'm looking forward to it myself. I mean,
Me-
I've this past month I have met some amazing authors with amazing stories, and I just look forward to just learning from them, just
Yes.
listening to all of the messages that they're going to be spreading. This is going to be amazing.
Oh, this is gonna be so good. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm always a student to life. So I'm looking forward to learning a lot as well. To meeting the other authors and loving on them, and just everybody that shows up, just allowing the Most High to work through me, to be a vessel and a conduit for God, to touch people it's an honor. Just
Yeah.
knowing that God trusts us enough to tell these stories so that he can do what he needs to do in every life that's touched by them. So I'm very, very excited to be a part of it.
Well, we have kind of reached the end, but I did want to ask you one thing. We were talking about the creators' rights movement at the very beginning,
Mhm.
about changing outdated copyright laws, and you
Right.
have seen copyright from the music side of the house, and now you've
Absolutely.
also seen it as an author. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
I just think it's important to cover yourself, to make sure that you're getting your copyright, and do whatever you need to do. I know back in the day, they had something called like a poor man copyright, where you could mail
Yeah,
it to yourself and don't open it. But it's so affordable these days to be able to take care of that. Protect your work is so important. Because people do, unfortunately, they will take it. And I've seen it happen on the music side of things. And that's why, even being married to an entertainer, it was a time where he could no longer like allow someone to sing certain things or rap certain things to him in person, because people will say, "Oh no, I told him this and he stole it," or
right,
so you
right.
have to make sure that you're covering your art. This is your art. Like, this is your contribution to the world. So, and it's not expensive to do, but just make sure that you protect your work.
Awesome. Well, Christina Johnson, thank you so much for
Thank
being on the
you.
Horizons Author Lounge. If you'd ever like to come back, just say the word. I would love to have you
Oh,
back so we can speak longer. And
oh, thank you.
I wish you all the best, and I will be looking for your book.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Rhonda. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, so that was author Christina Johnson. And now we are going to meet another author who's a part of the Literacy Code Book Tour, Miss Ethel M Gardner. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you tonight?
Very good. Very happy to be here. Very
You ready
happy.
for Thanksgiving?
I'm ready. That's one of my favorite holidays. And
Yes.
like you said, I've been invited to go to a lot of places, but I'm cooking home myself. So I'm very excited.
Yes, yes, yes. In fact, I think I've been cooking since this weekend because I got
Oh
invited to a
my.
Friendsgiving. And I cooked collard
Oh
greens for
wow.
that. My daughter got invited to a Friendsgiving, so she made gumbo, and I still have to
Oh.
fry some chicken and bake some sweet potato. I'm like, I thought I was taking a break this year, but that's all right. That's all right. So before we jump in, can you tell everybody who is Ethel Gardner?
So Ethel Gardner
Uh-oh.
is a woman that I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, to a mom that had 12 children.
Wow.
My mom decided to leave all of her kids with my dad. So my dad raised all of us by himself, never had a
Wow.
mother figure, grandmother, anything. So I grew up in some really rough times with identity. Didn't know um, who to trust, where to go, who to talk to. I just had some inner struggles. And because I was the second oldest in line, our father was like, okay, you guys got to step up to the plate and be the mother to my 10 other children. And it was difficult because, again, that's when you really lose your identity because you really don't know who you are or what's going on in your own personal life.
And I can see how that can really take a toll on a person's mental health.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is you're always feeling like you're taking care of everybody else, or you're always doing what's
Absolutely.
expected of you, and you
Yes.
start to lose yourself.
Yeah, you do. You lose yourself. You become a people pleaser. And when you become a people pleaser, that means that you really don't exist. You don't have a real existence in life. You do whatever is available to others. And when those chores are over, you find yourself in a very desolate place of loss and disparity,
Mhm.
depression, and things like that. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. When you uh, have that kind of spirit that's over your life all your life, you really become a people pleaser and you stop looking for yourself. You start looking for others to give you assignments.
And I'm telling you, when you become a people pleaser, and I've gone through it myself, you wind up pleasing no one. It's like
Yes,
you're trying to please everybody, but everybody's mad at you.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's hard. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so is that what you write about in your book?
Well, no, I wrote this book. This is my third book I wrote. I wrote two books before I wrote this one. The first one's called A Mother's Cry. And that one I wrote when I lost my only 16-year-old son. A
Mm.
Mother's Cry Can Good Come from a Broken Heart. And then I wrote my second book. It's called The Makings of You, Ingredients for a Great Recipe. And I wrote that one to try to figure out how I could be a mother figure and an individual. So what I did was I wrote that book and I got all my sisters together. And because we weren't handing down ingredients, we came up with ingredients and I put that in the book. But the
Love
one
that.
that we're here for is called The Power of Pause. Still waiting to live in a world full of possibilities. But I held my breath waiting for someone to give me an assignment so that I could feel like I was a human being, and that never came. So the power of pause meant I had to take my finger off that pause button and live. Give myself permission to live.
Do you have the cover with you?
I do. This is the power of pause. I wrote this about a year and a half ago. Like I said, again, this is my third book. I
Yes.
wrote it about a year and a half ago, and it talks about the power of pause, still waiting to live in a world full of possibilities. Yet I held my breath. So that's this book, and it's on Amazon. I don't know if you know TBN. TBN published a book for me. The
Oh, that's
Christian
awesome.
broadcast. They
Yeah.
published a book for me, but it's all over where books are sold, and so it's a pretty powerful book for women that have become, and men, but predominantly women that have become people pleasers.
And I was just going to ask what inspired you to write this, because as I'm listening to you talk about this book, I'm reflecting on our earlier conversation about people pleasing and about mental health. So I'm wondering, was it just reflecting back on those moments that inspired you to write the book, or was there a moment in your life you're like, you know what, that's it, I have to write this?
You know, there was a moment in my life after I lost my son that it was almost like a light bulb moment. You know, my identity was a mother. My identity was this. My identity was all these things. When I lost my son, I remember sitting in a chair and I was like, okay, so now who are you? What? I didn't even know what color I liked. I didn't know what my favorite food was. So I just started journaling a lot of my feelings, and I was so like upset with myself for not knowing anything. So the power of pause came as a result of me saying, I have to make a connection to myself. Who are you? Who are you without someone telling you who they are? And I started writing and journaling. And the power of pause came as a result of all my life. I've had my finger on that pause button, waiting for someone to give me an identity, waiting for an assignment, waiting for you to approve me, waiting for you to say yes. And all of a sudden I said, no more. I have to draw a line in the sand. I have a life. If my life didn't matter, God would not have allowed me to be alive. So let's utilize the time. And so I was writing in the book, don't let fear write your story. Do not let fear write your story. And bless my yes. I said yes to God. And all of a sudden, this book just evolved.
I love that. Bless my yes. Because we're kind of in an age right now where the popular thing is to say no. You know, no is a full sentence.
Yes.
It's okay to say no. If you say yes, you're being a people pleaser, but there's such power in what you just said. Bless my yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the key component is a lot of times we really want to say yes, but we say no because that's a learned behavior. It's to say no because we don't want to be made to feel inferior, and we don't want people to take advantage of us. And a lot of it is bless my yes. And the Lord was like, move forward. Yes, go. And we're still. And it's like, no, bless my yes. And so that was a big part of me moving my life forward. It's like obedience is better than any sacrifice you can ever give me. Bless my yes by moving life forward. Take your hand off that power of pause button and move forward. There's a lot I have for you to do, but I only can do it if you bless my yes.
Now, what is the danger in remaining on pause?
The real danger that I have seen, and I had told my daughters and my granddaughters, I have 2 daughters and I have 3 granddaughters, and I said to them, do you know or have you ever visited the cemetery? And they were like, yeah. I said, most of the potential is up there. You die full of potential because you never allow yourself. Come on now. You never allow yourself to bless that yes. Take your hand off that power of pause button and move life forward. We are waiting for someone to tell us. And I say all the time, go visit. And I never visit a cemetery, but I said most of the potential is right there because we die full of life and full of potential, waiting for someone to give us an approval. And they don't bless nothing at all.
We're sitting here waiting on people to give us permission to be great.
Absolutely.
We don't need to wait for permission to be great.
Not at all. Not at all. Absolutely. You don't need permission to be free. What you need permission to do is move life forward. So you have to plant where you grow. You plant where you grow, and you also grow where you water. I can't grow in your crop. I have to grow in mine. I'm watering the seed there. So let's do that. Let's plant where we grow. And a lot of times we haven't learned boundaries. So we're all over the place. And that's why I'm saying the potential is there. But do we tap in? Very rarely.
You're so right. And then you touched a word. You said boundaries. And often with people pleasing, or the quest to be loved, or the desire to be loved, you forget boundaries, and you just let people talk to you anyway, treat you anyway, touch you anyway, and you don't know how to say no. And so, and in that case, okay, well, if I say no, they won't like me, but they don't like you because they're not treating you with the respect. So it winds up being a slippery slope.
Absolutely. It really is a slippery slope. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that we know going in what the result is going to be. We have a strong spirit of discernment, especially women. We discern very, very, very well, but we still allow others to dominate, take control, and dictate. And we take a backseat to our own life. And then we wonder why all of these diseases are ravishing our body, because we're so hurting and empty inside. So we're festering that bless my yes, and we're saying yes to you when we're supposed to say no. Bless my yes, so that I could live out my potential right here on earth. And that's what we're supposed to do.
So is this the message that you plan to share during the Literacy Code book tour?
That is one of the major bless my yes. But the other one is, what is your reason for existence? Have you found your potential? And everybody have a gift and a calling. Now we have a gift and we have a lot of different things that we're good at. But for the literacy, I would like to talk about what is the reason for your very existence. There's one anointed, appointed blessing deep down inside of you. Have you tapped in yet?
Okay. Now somebody may ask, well, how do I find it? How do I know that this is what God has for me?
I'll tell you how, and that's a very good question, and it's very easy to answer. All of life will indicate to you where you're supposed to be. You know, sometimes we're driving down the street and the Lord will say something, and all of a sudden something will pop up, or you'll see something, or somebody will say something. All the indicators will say to you, I need to stop and do this very thing right here. You have that button inside of you that said, this is what and guess what? The thing that you're anointed to do is the love of your life. It's the passion of your life.
Yes.
That is what'll get you out of bed and get you motivated when you're having a bad day. Once you step into that, all is well. All is well. So that is it. What is the reason for your existence? Why are you living? Why are you alive? Why are you breathing?
That's when we need to hit pause, though. We really need to know, what is it that is the love of our life? There might be certain things we like to do, but that may not be the love of our life. And sometimes we just have to sit down, be still, and meditate and pray to figure out what that one thing is.
And you know what? You hit the nail on the head. Is prayer first, because all the indicators will say to you in your spirit, this is what I called you to do. Move forward. I will open the doors for you once you get there. But we want everything done, like our I's dotted, our T's crossed. This is a faith walk.
Everything
He
has
said,
to be perfect.
get on the journey and I'm going to give you the pass. Get on it. Bless
Yes,
my yes. But yet we wait 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And wow, what happened? Still waiting. The power of pause for
yes.
someone to give me permission to do life. And God has already said yes.
Amen. Now, we did put your website in the chat.
Yes.
Kennedy Austin Foundation. Can you talk a little bit about what that is?
Yes, the Kennedy Austin Foundation is a nonprofit organization. And again, it was established by me after the loss of my son. But Kennedy Austin is my first granddaughter. I saw her being born. So it triggered life in me. And I didn't want to name the foundation after my son because I felt in my spirit it would have become mine and I would not have shared it with the world. So I named it Kennedy Austin after my first granddaughter when I saw life. And that's exactly what this organization is. It is life to those who get involved with our programs, life for those who take our courses, life for those who deal with mental illness. It's all about living and life.
Wow. And so anybody who wants to maybe get involved or maybe they need this foundation, they can just go to KennedyAustinFoundation.org.
Absolutely. KennedyAustinFoundation.org. There's a lot of things on there. You can hit the button, you can volunteer, you can come and take some of the, again, mental health classes. A lot of people don't even know that they have mental illness. They have no idea. It's a familiar spirit. But we are able to turn the light on in a lot of life, and they would be like, well, I didn't know that. A lot of things that we deal with are generational, a lot. And so we have to break those curses, let God bless our yes, and move our lives forward. Because at the end of the day, whether you do it or not, you will be held accountable.
Amen. Well, that's a great way to end our segment. Miss Ethel, thank you so much for being
You
on the
are
show
so
today.
welcome.
And I would love to have you back on the show. All you have to do is just say the word.
Okay, I will do that. I promise I will.
All right. Thank you so much. Show us your book one more time, please.
Okay, here's my book. It's called The Power of Pause. Still waiting to live in a world full of possibilities.
All right. And we can find that book on Amazon as well as on your
Amazon,
website, correct?
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful evening and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. You too, my dear. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, y'all. That was Miss Ethel Gardner. So without any further ado, we are going to move over to Dr. Pam. Now, Dr. Pam was supposed to be on the show last week, and we had a couple of technical difficulties. So
I can't hear.
You can't hear?
I can't hear.
I can't hear. I hear you.
Huh, that's right. That's strange. I could hear the other audience before. Hold on.
Okay, so we had a couple of technical difficulties last week, but Dr. Pam will be right back on, so I'm not even going to worry. We are going to interview Dr. Pam tonight. But I just hope everybody's having a fabulous Thanksgiving weekend. And while we're waiting on Dr. Pam, I just want to let you guys know that tickets for the Black History Month Literary Weekend, the sales start this week. It's not this week. Oh my goodness, I'm getting excited. The sales start on December 1st. You can get your early bird tickets, and we just want to see you there. This is going to be in New Orleans, February 19th through the 21st. It's going to be a time, and a time will be had. So if you are in New Orleans or you're planning to travel to New Orleans, this is the perfect time to do it. Just go to the website, www.mtwimagesolutions.com/BHM-2026, or just click on the link in the chat. And it's right here on the screen as well. But Dr. Pam is back. So, Dr. Pam, can you hear me now?
Hello. I hear you now. And it's weird because I was listening to the whole thing before. So
I saw you.
I was like, wait a minute now, why I don't have no sound? How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you once again for your patience and understanding when we were going through our technical difficulties last week. I'm really happy to have you on tonight. And I know I said it to the other guests, but I feel like I still owe you one. So I really want you to come back on the show so we can do a longer interview another time. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, well, before we get started, like I've been asking everybody, tell us who is Dr. Pam, Dr. Pam Gurley.
Oh my gosh. So Dr. Pam is a lot of things. I am an author, I'm a writer, I'm a writing coach, I am a content creator, I am a wife, a dog mom, a bonus mom, I'm a foodie. I'm like a lot of things. I'm an adventurer. So I love things. I'm very spontaneous with different things. So I'm a lot of things rolled in one.
Okay, I love that. I love that. So, right, we're here to talk about your writing journey and your books.
Okay, yes. So I am a 30 times published author as of November 8th.
30 days.
My children, I have a children's books a series, and they're in 3 languages: English, French, and Spanish. Not all the series are the beginning of them are. I think the last 2 that I released, I have not done in all 3 languages yet. I'm deciding if I want to write in other languages beyond English and or English, French, and Spanish. So I'm just trying to decide, like, do I want another language outside of French and Spanish, or if I will, continue to publish in just those languages. I also write about intention. So I'm very much so a social advocate. I love writing things about shifting narratives and, living your authentic truth especially for mental wellness and mental awareness, for your health, just like overall body health. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much sums up like my writing journey, because I published my first book in 2019 and here I am in 2025 with 30.
That is amazing. And now I thought I saw that you released 3 books on the same day.
Yes, that was my 50th birthday. So what I did was I released my very first book. I added chapters to it. I kind of did a re-release of my first book because the last book that I wrote, that's an adult book, The Pedestal Philosophy, came from that book. It was a chapter in that book, and I felt like from 2019 to now, there are different things that I was able to see and witness and evolve, and that was a part of my evolution. And I felt like, you know what, let me re-release my first book, especially on the heels of releasing an entire book that came from a chapter from that book. And so those were the 2 books, adult books, or as they say, trade, that I released. And then I released another children's book that same day it was like my little gift to myself.
I love that. So
Yeah.
You are really true to this writing game. This is not a game for you.
It is not. My company is a writing company. So I'm like, my company's 8 years old, Clark and Hill Enterprise. It's 8, and I've been writing pretty much content, but more business on the business side, where there's marketing plans, business plans. I've helped other people write. I've done ghost writing. I've written social media captions. So writing is like my jam.
Well, what is it that attracted you to writing? I like to ask people, when you've seen the movie where they say, when did you fall in love with hip hop? I always ask people, when did you fall in love with writing?
I've always loved writing. I started writing poetry at a very young age, and somewhere in here behind me are books that have all of my poems that I wrote from like the early 90s when I was writing. And I've always, I don't recall a time where I did not just enjoy writing something, or I've always been an avid reader, which is probably my, attribution to loving the the written form of words, just words in general. So from poetry, I went to Upward Bound program, which is like college when you're during the summer months or during the school time. When I was in high school, I was the editor-in-chief of the paper that was there that summer. So I've always taken to writing. And for as far back as I can remember, I'm thinking maybe 12 or 13, I started writing, and it's just been a joy. But I was a reader before that.
I love that. Love that. And I think we have similar journeys because I grew up being a reader. I was reading everything that I could find. I would read signs on the wall just because I thought reading was fun. And as I got a little older, like about 12, 13 years old, I wanted to write my own books. I was reading so much, I wanted to write my own books. And I started getting into poetry as well. When I went to college and became an English major, I was doing more writing there. But I didn't write my first book until I didn't publish my first book until I was an adult and had already joined the Army. I even joined the Army as a writer. I was a public affairs specialist in the Army. So I've always been around writing. So I think we have kindred spirits there.
Yes, and I'm prior service Army. I'm an Army vet, retired. So yeah.
All right, I'm an Army vet too.
Yes, go Army.
Yeah, see, there's my retirement certificate right there.
Okay, I don't even have mine up. I have my degrees up on my wall, but it's somewhere. And if I'm not mistaken, it's in my safe with my DD 214 and everything else.
Come on, let's see. I had to make sure I framed this certificate because this certificate was signed by Barack. Oh, wait a minute, where's the one that signed? Oh, this certificate right here was the one signed by Barack Obama. So I needed to make sure I put this one up.
Yes, for sure. And that's always something great to have.
Absolutely, absolutely. So and I see Kim is on. Kim has been all in the comments. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Kim. Yeah.
So you're going to be a part of the Literacy Code book tour, and I just feel like this is totally up your alley.
Yeah, being an author, not only that, I think I curate, because I also curate a kids red carpet book tour and literacy festival, and I have since 2021. And so that's like near and dear to my heart. I think being able to promote literacy in any way, shape, or form, I would want to be a part of that. I think it's vital.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I started the Black History Month Literary Weekend, which I host every February. That's what I was talking about when you logged off and you came back on. We'll be doing our 10th year in New Orleans this coming February. And it's always been about promoting literacy, because I remember when we were kids, remember they used to do the book challenges. If you read a certain amount of books, you would get a pizza party, or you could get money for every book that you read. I remember I had an aunt who just gave me a quarter. I was like, okay, well, she's going to give me a quarter. That's going to be 5 cents a book. I was going to that could have just been one book. You gave me a quarter. I said, no, that's going to be 5 cents a book. So I read 5 books for that quarter.
Okay.
Because I just knew I wanted to read.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Look, money is always an incentive to do more, especially when you're young.
Absolutely. But I want us to get back to that, just make reading fun again. I think that I love the creators now, they're talking about books the way that we used to talk about TV shows and movies. They're now talking about books the way, girl, did you read so and so? That's the way we should do. That makes people want to read a book. That was the way Waiting to Exhale became popular, because everybody was talking about that book, and it made other people want to read it. So we've got to celebrate authors the same way we celebrate musicians and actors and so forth.
Oh, I 100% agree. And I think, for a long time, and I think it's coming back now, I felt like book reading was almost like a little dying art, because most people be very digital, wanting audiobooks. And while audiobooks are extremely popular, there are so many people that I see now back with books in their hands, not their digital devices. You know, every time I'm traveling, people are having more and more books. And it makes me feel good as an author because I mean, I do have ebook versions of things, and I'm coming out with the audio version for 2 of my books, for the latest books in January. But I'm now that I'm loving that we're going back to physical, tactile books to
Yes,
hold those.
I agree with that. I do like to hold a book, but I've got to admit that I am an audiobook girly. It's only because of my schedule that I don't always have time to sit down and read. So, and I live in the DC area where everything is an hour away. So sometimes I prefer to drive by myself because I can listen to a book instead of listening to the radio. Or if I
Mhm.
go for a walk, I'll put my earbuds in and I'll listen to a book while I'm taking a walk. And for me, it's a great way to relax. But I still like a physical book. I
Yeah,
still like to hold it.
yeah, I'm like that. Now I would tell you, as a writer, like as a writer, I don't have as much time to read, so I do listen to audiobooks a lot more than I used to, unless I'm really have some downtime. Now February, I'm very intentional about being able to read, so I buy, you know, books from Black authors just so that I can sit and read books.
Yeah.
And so that's my goal for February, is like, you know what, I'm going to be very intentional about reading. And it's important for me to not just listen, but to be able to physically read books. I also retain more when I read
And that's
books
true.
rather than listening to via audio.
Because you can go back and read it again if you need to. It's harder to do that on an audiobook. You have to keep hitting rewind, and then you never get it to just that right spot.
Yeah,
So sometimes
that
it's better to
depends
read
on
the
the
book.
reader. I think it depends on how it's reading. Because then I'm like, you do have to play it back sometimes, or you feel like you missed something. So it's not like, you know, going back in a book really quick. But I
Yeah.
also typically own the books of the audiobooks.
Yeah, I have not done that. Usually, if I buy the audio book, I'm not gonna buy the print book, but I'm gonna read it. And we're going into December, and I've finished reading the physical books that I was working on. So now I have a couple more books of some authors who I support throughout the year. So I want to dedicate the entire month of December to reading some of those books, of those authors that I support all the time. So right now, I know Mark Bosajor was on a little earlier. I'm finishing one of his books. Dr. Audrey Ann Moses, I'll be reading her book. She sent me a book in the mail, and I have a couple more authors who I just want to get through before the end of the year. And then I always post my reading list um, of everything that I read throughout the year. And I think I beat last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yay. That's
Well,
something that's,
doing this show, you're gonna read some books.
well, that's very true. That's very true.
So,
Oh,
do you have your book? I can't remember. Did you hold up your book a little earlier? Do you have your book with you?
have all 3 with me.
Yay! Okay, so let's go through them one by one.
Okay. So I will start with my baby, my children's book. Brown Girl and Brown Boy presents Kofi Roo the Yorkie Poo. One of the things I had another book in mind. I'm actually writing another book at the same time I was doing this one. But Kofi it's my real baby. And so what I did was introduce my fiction babies to my real baby. And so my little twins got a pet, and it talks about what it takes to care for a dog, and it's interactive. So this is the first activity book that I also published.
Oh, nice.
They can
Okay.
write in it. There are mazes in it. There's things that you can draw, but it talks about, you know, filling in your own pet care schedule and just how to take care and be responsible for a pet. Their pet just so happened to be a dog. So I just, you know, I wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to share my dog, my fur baby, with the world. And so this was the end result of it. And I love it because it literally looks like this. He's
Your
somewhere.
illustrations are beautiful.
Huh?
Your illustrations are beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a great illustrator, Dr. Amina. She's actually a biochemist or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, oh yeah, she's really great. And then I have the pedestal philosophy. This is the one that came from chapter 3 in my book. It's your pedestal, your power, your truth. And originally this came from just a single chapter from my first book, this is a reprint of it. I am not a stereotype. I am her, or HER. And HER is from a poem. This right here, I'm not a stereotype. I am HER is from a poem that I wrote and that I ended up writing a book. But essentially, the pedestal philosophy is all about reclaiming your worth, embracing who you are, living in your own authentic truth. I think that growing up, you often hear, "Oh, you should be on somebody's pedestal," but they should think highly of you. But I think that that's just like it's a breeding toxic wasteland, So because you can't live up to someone else's expectations, but when you put on someone's
Right.
pedestal, what you're saying is like, you better measure up because I'm holding you to a standard that I'm not willing to be myself. And so I feel like it causes more frustration, it causes more stress, and you can't really show up as yourself because you're so busy walking on eggshells trying to prove to be this person for someone else. So it's like, whose life are you really living? So I wrote,
Right.
I want people to build their own foundation of self-worth. I want them to build their own foundation for self-approval. I want them to become resilient in their own power. And I show
Love
people
that.
how. This was how I healed from being toxic myself. And I talk about all of my own personal toxicity in this book, which is why I did the reprint, because when I first wrote the pedestal philosophy, yes, it healed me, but I didn't realize that I still had more growing through it to do. So after I realized that while writing that book, I said, I grew up a little bit more. Let me share my growth in this. And so that's why I did a reprint. And so
I think that needs to be required reading for a lot of, and I say young people, but shoot, we people like myself, in our 50s, we need to read that too.
Yeah. So you know what? The weird part was this book was requested by several people who read my first book. And I was like, I don't really have nothing else to give. But then here I responded to my audience and I was like, I prayed about it and it's only 6 years late, but here it is. But she's,
It's there.
shout out to her name, Sakura. And so she was one of the first people that said, this should be a whole book. And then I had other people after her. And when you're speaking at different events and whatnot, and you're talking and you're sharing your story, it's like, you know what, let me share with people how I was able to live and find my own authentic voice, how to advocate for myself, how to say no, when to say yes, but how to continually show up for me. Because while there is power in the word no, there is much more power in the word yes for yourself. You have to say yes to you first before you can say no to anyone else. And so this is why I feel like this book holds such a valuable place in my heart. I also quote, I reference a lot of other psychological theories in this book that help support my philosophy, my background psychology, and that's one of the loves of my heart, even though I don't practice or anything. And then the foreword was written by Dr. Cortina Peters Lewis, who is actually a therapist. She has her own therapy company or organization out of Florida, and she's really big in the Orlando area for mental health. And so I was grateful to have a sisterhood with her, which is why I felt like it was important to write about sisterhood and the power of it. Of once you're healed, you'd be amazed at the level of friendships and connections that draw to you. And so I'm very grateful to I can break the myth about not having a big circle. You can have a big circle of quality women life if you show up as a woman of quality.
You better speak, man. Another, you know what? I feel like there's been a prevailing message throughout this entire show. Just showing up for yourself, saying yes. I mean, it's okay to say no, but there's also power in saying yes. We've heard that. Bless my yes. We heard that today.
Yeah.
Finding ourselves. I just feel like that you ladies were a great way to end this entire Literacy Code book tour series. So I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story. I look forward to meeting you as we begin to work on the Literacy Code book tour. And God bless what you're doing through literacy.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very much
you.
for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, if you ever want to come back, well, we got to have you back. So this spring we're going to have you back on the show.
Okay. Sounds good. And I'll be doing my book tour during that time. So that's kind of the perfect time.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. And any way I can support you, just say the word.
Will do. Thank you so much and have a great Thanksgiving.
And you do the same. God bless you and you have a great night.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, y'all. We had 3 guests tonight, 3 of them. But man, everything went so quickly. So I hope everybody enjoyed our guests. I hope you all caught those messages that they were dropping throughout the show. I hope that if the Literacy Code book tour comes to your town, that you will be a part of it, because this is going to be something totally powerful. And don't forget to go to creatorsrightsmovement.com and check out all the information on the Creators' Rights Movement, and make sure you sign that petition. The website is right here on the screen. And don't forget that, I have all kinds of reminders. Don't forget, ticket sales for Black History Month Literary Weekend start December 1st. We're going to have a meet and greet. We're going to have a free writer's workshop. We're going to have a comedy night featuring comedian Steve Brown. We're going to have our world famous, yes, I can say world famous, our world famous Ivory and Creamer Fair Jazz Brunch. This is going to be a weekend for the history of books. We are celebrating 10 years of celebrating literacy and our history. So we want you to be a part of that. So remember, December 1st, get your tickets. And right now, you can go to the website, www.mtwimagesolutions.com. Make sure you click on For the Culture Book Awards and vote for our contestants. We have, I think, over 600 votes now that have already come in, and we still have another 3 weeks of voting. So you guys are showing up and showing out. The top 5 keep switching almost every day. That's how close it is. So I don't even know who's going to be top 5s. That's how close it is right now. So if you think that your favorite author just has it in the bag, that's not true. Make sure you're going out every day and voting for your favorite author to win the for the second annual For the Culture Book Awards. Website is right here on the screen, www.mtwimagesolutions.com/contest-2025. All right, y'all, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you so much. I want you to have a beautiful, beautiful, and blessed Thanksgiving weekend. I will see you next month. We will be bringing in some more authors. And then we're going right into January, where we're going to start promoting our Black History Month authors. And so we want you all to be a part of that. And if you'd like to sponsor one of the Black History Month Literary Weekend Horizon shows, contact me for more information and I'll tell you all about that. All right, y'all, that's all I have. That's all the reminders I'm going to give you tonight. I will see you next week. You have a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend. Stay blessed, stay safe, and happy reading. Bye-bye.